Simple.
Your interest is paramount, eh?
On interest.
But what car was it?
When asked, she said any car we so desire. She was asked recently, actually, this year, a couple of months ago, that this one journalist, one car, this time round, will she bring back that policy? She said, certainly, any car you want, and also fuel taken care of, and also chop money on the side.
I see. Well, she's dead. We don't know the full details. I'm sure that lawyer Dakabre from Pom Manson will share some details with us. At the last IPAC meeting, Akua Donkor was present. You remember that? She spoke highly of the Electoral Commission. And this is tormenting the woman. Leave the woman alone. Let the woman do her work. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Akua Donkor of blessed memory.
It's pretty about for small. And this is for the papa. That's also over the court. But I will bet you in the court. That's all money we are still cow. Looking at you, yes, I bet you. Me, I'm a deal. I make a say. Easy can say. Will be out at Nipa. I'm not now. Tell you no, baby, I actually will be out at Nipa. Now, who say the veteran will be at the Yakawazo. Maybe the Milipa baby, I was with the Milipa. Then actually, come on. What the book that the challenge is I can't hold the plane at home. So, yeah, 1 year I feel the watching. And yeah, will be a 1 year gallery. And then I'm going to pay. When you say I've been everybody. When I go by you, we are day more. We are day more. The bonfire said I'm going to tell but Piasso, 1 year of it, where your bass so cool. When you need personal, the poor basso, I didn't for no friend, one poor basso. I don't know what it is. May I make something? What's it? Any pet you don't want to say, yeah, you will, and then go here. The poor boy. I don't know what kind to us. I thought, what shall I be? I don't know. I don't know what is that. I don't want quiet strictly. I say, Cuckoo, no more could you. I don't like it. Yes, I'm black. Campus. What's that? What should I do for 1 before? I mean, before the war about what someone has. No more say what you show. I did point with a whole body. What's actually what back as one? One man could to cross of the kind. Picture it. I did a 1 year. Or my yes, what put it away. Or my 1 year. Oh, may I have it? Mummy and Yasso. Yeah, you papa, dear factory. I bet I ever do. I have find it so by you. Come on. What did you have? I had to know yes, sir. What
Somebody said the legendary Akua Donkor.
Very much so. Very legendary. Indeed, especially when you come to think about what the political class looks like, the political elite, if you will. And she wanted to stamp her authority that everybody is included in nation building, whether you read and write in English, whether or not you are so articulate or proficient in the Queen's English, and so on and so forth. And I think it was an important feature in our body politics to know that governance can be for anybody, any type of Ghanaian can put themselves forward as long as they think that they have ideas to propel Ghana forward. And that is something that we remember her for, as being a woman as well in that space, that Ghana is for all of us, regardless of your class.
Right.
Assassin so for yena and she can say an omen to a brother Shabonton so trade any father any data you be
penny of what yes say and someone sitting up one tree a fat Jamahama home come and penny if you say you know what film say well no I walk up a penny or a babe and I said you may be more. Nasa wo sa akopre timi fofora wo do dibra to ho timi ho so na dibra to ho entimi ko ka se ma dada the american e me nyina o kasa na o kasa tia me sei aba no eto ye no oba no yi no no aka bi yo ba ha ma aka bi se and say, I may have family. Now, maybe no me you. I ban say, I listen to you force the bar say, will be on quite church, you know. I want Kuren in our Cratano so. Our Cratano so. Mutiame, Moka me a D. Enter the catch level. Using my Crata from Saka, say 9. Young Kura, a war Saka, so. Young was inside. Where the above Mokan say, or your best sign, one fat in the fear number, no far and 1 number. Naka home. Minimum woman, no more can, minimum. That's what Timmy Aqua side. Timmy Aqua side, I did, and one more side, if you are no money, if one of my goso. One more at me, that's what you have. That's also in the moment. What for computer at now? Now I watch your Nadia back anymore. If you didn't and to the cassette, and only a family a yow. We are what you may, my man, 1 tower be or Doma, the Juma way, or Doma in Crawford. And this other can answer with Samia. May catch them one there. Or my penny, Mahamano. Or so I am penna, but the little court. Until the little court. The patch, but the little court. Because soon or 2 billion, 3 million, the magic of Mahama. 73,000 all men, Sikati, minimum. I am to let you say, and you can see a family. Now, Minyani Pana, and I said in Trigana. Mamma Matias, the little court, you see me penny for Mamma better. So I check me a dipper, and I'm Frigana. And to do a kind of side, I will run on Pacho. You run Pacho, oh, Homo Manina, if I told you. Your Mahama may say. So I see me. Nipano Casas say, and when you know what they say, Nipano be a while, as I thank you, I am my back. I have got a betcha and the cocoa to a betcha. So unto me, I'm waiting with your betcha. Now, when you cocoa to the family, I say, where they may catch them, may say, the quarter no one on the whole come and come out, may my belly at Jenny. And I also not belly at Penny Miss. And I bet you general. May see P. I catch and say, I'm a penny secretary in the doctor. Your doctor actually, one family, and yes, sir. The swimming in America, Miss one on the quarter miss. Until
forget that, okay, we've been at each other's throats and all of that.
Yeah.
Was she a necessary evil?
Absolutely. And it wasn't until this morning when I was reading her profile and her legacy and her impact that I really stopped for a second and I thought, you know what, good on you, Akua Donkor, for being a part of Ghanaian politics. Again, when we talk about politics, we assume that it's a certain specific type of individual who should be at the helm of affairs. Suit and tie, speaking, beautiful English, well constructed, articulate. We've seen that over the years as being our preferred political candidate. Where has that really gotten us to? Where has that really gotten us to? But Akua Donkor put herself out there, and given her I'd say her level of speaking English was never shy of expressing herself and her views. I never got that impression that she wanted to, be behind the scenes or be in a corner because she didn't think that she could match up. And you heard in that last clip, she said, when you were talking, I was quiet. I'm on the floor now, so be quiet. I think it also gives a certain demographic, the notion or the inspiration that I too can have some good ideas. I don't need to have the most impeccable brothel. I can also sit amongst those we call political elites and have my say. You might think, or you might say that, okay, maybe some of these policies, they didn't really sit well with you. You didn't see how viable it was.
Her manifesto was just 1 page. Yeah, it was 1 sticker. Finish.
See, those kinds of things make it difficult to advance the cause of Akua Donkor. But for what it symbolizes, what she symbolizes, I think we can't take that away from her at all. A very necessary evil in our body politics. I want to see another Akua Donkor with maybe more pages in his or her manifesto to really cement the idea that no matter what part of the country you are coming from, you too can have representation. You too can be represented.
Great.
Yamaka, when you start a fair bit. Oh, him I have what's over why baby, I'm fast I am a American and I don't know something or don't over there's one time that you will be Yamaka, when you start a fair bit. Oh, him I have what's over baby, I'm fast
My God, Akua Donkor. She rest in peace. Now, she had 18 promises for the 2024 general elections. 18, so one page. Let's quickly go through some of the things that Akua Donkor would have done for fellow Ghanaians if she had, become president. She says, well, the founder of the Ghana, this story on the Daily Graphic Online, dated the 13th of July 2024. Beatrice Lai wrote that story. It says the founder and leader of the Ghana Federation Party, Akua Donkor, has made 18 promises, which she will oversee once she's elected as Ghana's next president in the 2024 presidential election. She has pledged to finish the Saklemi housing project units and provide public servants with free accommodation. And she also says that it will play a crucial role. She also says that she will provide free port, clean water, and free water, free electricity. Free petrol will be refined here. Loan defaulters will be arrested. Loan defaulters that have been arrested will be freed. 1 year maternity leave, Helen. So you would have been happier.
Of course.
Farmers' needs will be provided. Of course, she's a farmer, so
that's right.
Farmers who are 40 and above will be on a pay list for pension. Free cutlasses for farmers. Free fertilizers for farmers. Eradication of galamsey. The uneducated will be employed. There will be money for farmers to enlarge their farms. There will be a representative of every trade in parliament. Local languages will be allowed in parliament and court. Something will be deported. No unemployment. Loan default is not an offense under Akua Donkor. If she had become president, these things would have been a thing of the past. But now, here we are. She's going to be with the Lord. We'll cross now over onto the phone line, and there's a gentleman, a journalist, a colleague who will speak with Ora Kwejo, who is a partner station with Akuma FM in Kumasi 87.9, currently in the family house in Ejuratia. Ora, thank you. Good morning. Good
morning.
Now, where are you exactly in Ejuratia?
Okay, so I'm currently in Adretia. It's situated within the Akwa South,
right,
in the Ashanti region.
Right.
Adretia is a twin town with Intobi and then Ankase. So it's a three communities conjoined together.
I see.
Fortunately, our mom Akua Donkor comes from Adretia, and incidentally, she comes. This same town also is the hometown to Madam Betty, lawyer Betty Modiputu. Brother, it's Dr. Alex Mood.
I see.
They all come from this town.
I see. Now, you tell me, what is the mood and feeling there? Have you been to the family house?
Yeah, so the news came through around 11 p.m. yesterday. And at that time, it would have been difficult to get access to family members. So I waited, and as early as 5:30, I was at the main gate waiting for the family to open their gate. As soon as they opened, I entered, and then I went straight to the family head and went to have an interaction with him. So yes, he did confirm, and the family has exclusively confirmed on all our allied networks this morning that the news circulated is true. They've also given details. So this is the detail they gave me. Around this time yesterday, they were told our mother was not feeling well, and then she had been taken to Wade Hospital in Accra. So later in the afternoon, they called to check up, and then they were told she had been moved from emergency to a ward, so she was responding to treatment.
Right.
So around 10 p.m., the family head, according to him, said he received a call from Akua Donkor's personal secretary that the woman has passed off, and that was it. So as at 10 p.m., they decided to inform close family members and keep it on hold. Reasons being that the family is a royal family, and Ashanti custom, when a royal passes on, the first person that needs to be informed is the king of the community or the chief of the community, the family resides. So until the chief has been informed, there can't be any form of mourning or any form of mourning. So earlier this morning, a delegation is on their way to see the chief of Adretia to officially inform him about the death of the late Madam Akua Donkor. But most of the key family members are seated. They are here, and then we've spoken to a lot of them on our other allied networks.
I see. Now, Akua Donkor's influence in her village, what would you say the people are telling you?
Johnny, I personally live in one of the twin communities called Impobi. Incidentally, that's the hometown to Nana Komedo Ajmari Wallace, our former first lady. About 20 years ago, Impobi, Adretia, Hema, and Ankase were all one electoral area. And the late Madam Akua Donkor was the assembly member. And from what I've seen with my eyes, a lot of boreholes have been dug. It was dug during when she was the assembly member. It was through her influence that Ghana Water extended their services here. A lot of communities here first saw electricity in their communities when she was an assembly member. There are a lot of families here who have told me that Madam Akua Donkor facilitated for their kids, their grandchildren to get access to scholarships to further their education. A lot of nurses have been produced from this community through the influence of Madam Akua Donkor. She built a market for Himai, a nearby community. The new settlement, that same Himai, when they were starting a new settlement, it was through her influence that all electricity and then water and then other amenities got there through her lobbying skills. And I'm also told that there is a bridge that connects the community Hemine to her hometown, Adretia. Anytime the bridge was constructed, the bridge will crash because of the nature of the river. It took Madam Akua Donkor initiative to buy a cow, take it to the gods to be sacrificed. And just when she did that, from then after that reconstruction, the bridge has never collapsed again. So Madam Akua Donkor has a lot of good works to her name, and the tribute this morning flowing in is very touching. We may not have known much about her, but after her death, a lot of people are coming out with the positive sides of her, the impact and how she touched life within the community and then within Ashanti as a whole.
And for them, the first female president for the Republic of Ghana could have emerged from their village. Now that that light has been dimmed, how do they feel?
It's very sad here this morning. It's very sad. The mood in the community is not encouraging this morning. They keep on telling me that their Auntie Betty Modidusu has been a minister, she's been an ambassador. They've seen all these things before, as in the community at Adretia. So they were looking forward to see a president from Adretia too. But unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Now, do we know if a public gathering yet, some vigil, something? I mean, this is early days yet, though, but what arrangements are you picking from on the grounds?
Okay, so from my initial conversations with the family head, who goes by the name Nanaya Opuku, he confirmed to me that majority of the family reside in Kumasi. Some two are in Accra, and then the rest are here in Ethiopia. So they informed every person who needs to be informed about the death. And the arrangement is they delegated the family members in Accra to go to rest and make sure she's properly deposited at the morgue. And in the course of the day, the family would meet and decide on the next line of action as to whether they would come to Accra, get the body, retrieve the body from the morgue and come and deposit in Kumasi, or they would wait till the official barrier before she's brought to her hometown. They are deliberating on all these things. But I can confirm to you that the family is going to have a crunch meeting midday today. And after midday, all details of what they intend to do and their plans will be out. We've positioned ourselves such that whatever decision that comes out, media journal will be the first to know.
Right. Thank you very much, Orakojo of Akoma 87.9 FM, reporting from Adretia, where Akua Donkor actually hails from. Thank you very much indeed. We're grateful. So now you have it. Yeah? Adretia.
It's so sad to hear that the residents there are really feeling the impact of this loss, and the mood and the sentiment is quite low. That means that she was important to them and not an individual that they played with at all.
Not at all. And to you heard those who were saying that, well, she actually facilitated the education of many young people there. I mean, she had not gone to school, but she was very interested in education, and she thought that, well, you know, others must be enlightened so that they can also influence society. For some reason, you could tell that even though she's very confident in her skin and proud of her own private and personal accomplishments, she still thought that giving the benefit of education, you know, because for most of the period, the people around her, and she made that point forcefully at the IPAC meeting that, look, Makusku, you know, she kept saying that. So I'm thinking that, okay, she thinks that, okay, let me also get some people to go to school so that I can surround myself with people who go to school, so that if these Boklong people come and they want to intimidate me, I have somebody,
my backup that can intervene.
I'll just redirect and face them for me, and you know, I'm sure that was the thinking that she had beyond the natural thing of doing good. And you know, it's sad. It's sad. It's sad. Well, Akua Donkor once upon a time joined Nanado on the campaign platform. Listen. You know, Akua Donkor had joined Nanado before. He had joined John Mahama.
Yes, I think she was part of a delegation, I'm told, that's according to reports, that went to Italy. And this was around peak Doomsaw time. Right. So how she was able to maneuver along different political lines, I don't know how she did it.
The Akua Donkor.
Ghana for Obia, Oya Ghanania, Wakapa was here. Say bang you, Sabantino. Now the canty, Yadu Wako to please. Mebaya, wow, the car. One go we are the Nabosiano about Yadu Wako to Modi. One be as may you are more babanti. So about who remember what the count one Yadu Wako to please. Maybe you are more babanti. As someone will catch them. To Ghana for more was saying with the prison when you are young was it. Maybe I am a baby in our mother. I will remember. The Carol will be a co-op of here. This is Carol, that's a common over and was on to him, want to impress the Carol. The common over, and to you control the animal, I say, get you up to please. And to me, baby, you want what the busy and what the cardiac, the human in our
in the morning on 92.7 Sunrise on 3FM.
So those who had hopes that Akua Donkor was coming to rescue them from monies that they had borrowed and they couldn't pay, you know. Attention.
She said,
I want you to come here. The generator for the generator and Bappet. I know what I am a man what I'm not in the town. Oh, can you when you do no? And tell me what I did if you did, can you do, Mano? Near the America, near generator and so near to. You're 12 years near the choir, near Socaniano. You're quite Bappet near Duno. And I said, see, I want the I am myself. And I who could have. Yes, I say, hey, don't do so as a Hammer. Now, go on, Franchise. Yanya don't want into Ghana say, I don't want in one. Yes, your father and pa. Now, the dog would be out, would be out anybody. And to the sergeant one in a way a Ghana had a dear. Say to me, I don't want in a dear. One day, and one magnet when you are home. There you took Yanya Canning. The generator for a generator and Bappet. I know what I am a man what I'm not in the town. Oh, can you when you do no? And tell me what I did if you did, can you do, Mano? Near the America, near Booth, your net and so near to. You're 12 years near the choir, near Socaniano. You're quite back near Duno. And I said, see, I want the I am myself. And I who could have. Yes, I say, hey, don't do so as a Hammer. Now go on, Franchise.
That was Akua Donkor there. Now let's read the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, 1992, Article 50. And I'll pick certain portions of it, but let me read the whole thing. Article 50 of the 1992 Constitution says, subject to the provisions of this Constitution, where at the close of nominations and on the day before a public election, two or more candidates have been nominated, the election shall be held, and the candidate who receives the largest number of votes shall cast shall be declared elected. Or B, only one candidate is nominated, there shall be no election, and that candidate shall be declared elected. Clause 2. Where for the purposes of a public election, two or more candidates are nominated, but at the close of the nomination and on the day before the election, only one candidate stands nominated, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nomination of other candidates, and it shall be lawful for any person nominated within that period of 10 days to withdraw his nomination. 3. Where at the close of nominations under Clause 2 of this article, only one candidate stands nominated, there shall be no elections, and that candidate shall be declared elected. Now, this is the point that answers the conundrum as to whether the Electoral Commission will have to reactivate nominations in case somebody dies, like how Akua Donkor has died now. She's number 3 on the ballot sheet, right? If it's printed, and now she's gone, she's dead.
That's right.
Article 50, Clause 4 says, where are the close of nominations, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nominations, and where the death occurs at any time within 25 days before the elections, the election in that constituency or unit shall be postponed for 21 days. Where are the close of the nominations, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nominations, and where the death occurs at any time within 25 days before the election in that constituency or unit shall be postponed for 21 days. The Electoral Commission shall, that's 51, the Electoral Commission shall, by a constitutional instrument, make regulations for the effective performance of its functions, etc., etc. So that's 54. That's what we're looking for. So now today is 39 days.
That's right.
So we're way past the 25 days, right? No, we are not up to the 25 days.
It's not up to 25.
Yes. So we are way past it, because 39 is greater than 25.
Right.
So we are safe, within the safe zone.
All right.
Within this period, EC has 10 days to reopen the nominations to get another presidential candidate. Because even if the running mate moves up to become the presidential candidate, he will need a running mate to tag along.
That's right.
So the EC within this period must apply Article 50 Clause 4 so that we can get a running mate and a presidential candidate for the Ghana Freedom Party, Akua Donkor's beloved party.
Okay.
So there's no ambiguity.
I see.
Is there?
So for many who were asking, okay, does this mean that some kind of reballoting must occur and some printing must happen? What is that answer categorically? Because that's the main question.
I'm tempted to think that the reballoting and all of that will not arise at this point, because it is the presidential candidate that is gone.
Right.
If Akua Donkor had won the election and died intestate, like how Professor Mills had died, there wasn't any fresh elections. The Constitution had provided that John Mahama, then Vice President, became the president, was immediately sworn in to assume the office of presidency. I would think that would come through here, unless otherwise the party decides that we don't want the running mate to be the flag bearer. So we are going to choose an entirely different flag bearer. And I'm sure the party now will be considering names. But if the party decides to withdraw from the election,
right,
then that will mean that maybe reballoting could happen. Or the Electoral Commission can decide and say that, okay, let's push it up. IPAC can have that conversation. I mean, it has not happened before. So really, there's no precedence to latch onto, right?
That's right.
Yeah, but these are options that could come up. That the party, okay, Akua Donkor's party, Ghana Freedom Party, say, okay, our flag bearer is dead, we are sad, we don't want to continue with the elections, we are mourning out of respect for our founder, so we withdraw from the elections. Hey, that's fine. But that leaves them with what? 12 people. 12 candidates. What happens now? Two options. Either you do reballoting, which I'm not sure the parties would, because if we do reballoting, and the permutations are this, Dr. Baumia is number 1 on the ballot sheet.
Indeed.
So his position will not change. So his campaign, which is now, has moved away from breaking the 8 to vote number 1, right, will be good for them. However, that of John Dramani Mahama and the other candidates who are number 3, number this, number that, number 12, Cheddar, you remember Cheddar brought the 12, what do you call it?
Something,
pillars of
yes.
If Akua Donkor's party withdraws, he will no longer be at number 12.
Indeed.
He will decide to move everybody up. That means that his campaign would have fallen inside water, as they say, the local parlance. John Mohammed's 8 would have been affected. Alan Chamantin's position on the ballot sheet, the 13, would have been affected. So all of them will say, okay, then let's re-strategize. What do we do?
Yeah.
Let's do reballoting, because you can't just move us up, and one is constant, so one will not be affected, because the others will be moving up the ranks to be able to fill in the gap. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, if I have spent my money to print campaign materials,
That's right.
and you now tell me that I have to move the thing, Charlie, this one is a thorny one.
Definitely, I think the parties will not be too excited about that, because, for example, the NDC have now acclaimed the position 8. All the campaign messaging is, choose 8 to break the 8, and so on and so forth. T-shirts have been printed, but that was the same thing that we said about the NPP. They also had 8. Now, breaking the 8, they had, also
now,
procured
NPP
so many.
doesn't even want to hear 8. Don't mention 8 around them. Now, Regulation 13(4) of CI 127. And this is why we're adding more flesh to Article 54 of the Constitution. Now, contested election and death of a candidate. This is Regulation 13(4) of CI 127, which the Electoral Commission will use, as it was stated in Article 51, to run the elections. Where are the close of nominations, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nominations. Death of a candidate, 17(1). Where an election is to be held and a candidate dies on the eve of the election and proof of the death of the candidate is given to the returning officer before the commencement of the poll, the returning officer shall put on hold proceedings in relation to the election and inform the Commission. 2. The Commission shall, on receipt of information under Sub-Regulation 1, adjourn the poll and allow a period of 10 days for the political party to which the candidate belonged to nominate a new candidate. Now, let's look at it. There's the law, there's also culture. You remember our correspondent, Kojo said that, Ora Kojo said that, look, Akua Donkor comes from, a big family.
That's right.
And in line with Asante culture, people have to be informed. People have to come and gather and etc. In this country, we know that the proof of death, the death certificate, which is proof of death, usually happens when you're about to be buried, right? So it's another thorny issue.
That's right.
Within this short period, are we going to see the Electoral Commission say that, okay, we publicly are aware of it, so that's fine, or the GFP writes to the Electoral Commission to say, oh, our flag bearer is dead, or would somebody come and challenge it and say that, look, you don't have the legal document to say that the person is dead. What is the proof that the person is indeed dead? Because then it would mean that if these requirements are not satisfied, the elections may have to be postponed.
And that is also another
option,
possible option.
So Akua Donkor has put us in a very tight corner.
Okay, the implications of this are far-reaching then.
Public Elections Regulations 2020 CI 127 put us in a very tight corner.
How swiftly do you envisage the EC shall I say, advising the general public on what the next steps are and how quickly should that happen? There's a lot of confusion swirling around. People coming up with their own theories, ideas, and I think very quickly the EC must step in so we have a clear path.
You know, yesterday I said something about Gridco that when officialdom decides to relax, purveyors of fake news will fill in the gap for you.
Indeed.
The EC must not allow that to happen in this circumstance. The EC must be able to move quickly, as you rightly have stated. The law is clear. We are not 25 days to the elections yet. We are 39 days to the elections, which means that the Electoral Commission has more than 10 days. So they can afford to reopen the portal or reopen the nomination, channel for renomination by the Ghana Freedom Party to happen. That's one, right? Number two, the GFP also have to help us all as a country in the Electoral Commission by quickly and in writing indicate to the Electoral Commission that this is what has happened to our flag bearer. And this is our replacement for our flag bearer immediately. That would save us the confusion that I was talking about, possible postponement, and postpone this, possible that. So it behoves on the Electoral Commission and the GFP to be able to save us from any further trouble and any further confusion. The two of them have that role.
What about those who have recently been disqualified? So you have the Bernard Monas and others. Would that possible reopening of the portal allow them some entry in there? I mean, they're in court and so on and so forth. Bernard Monas says that his next step is the Supreme Court. But if these anomalies have been spotted, if they open that portal with those corrections, can those candidates also quickly slip in and also resubmit?
I think that the law says that where at the close of nominations, but before the election, one of the candidates dies. That's Article 54. A further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nominations. And where the death occurs at any time within 25 days before the elections, the election in that constituency or unit shall be postponed for 21 days. That's what the Constitution says.
Right.
Now, the CI, the constitutional instrument, right, for the governance of public elections, that's it, the Public Elections Regulations 2020 CI 127, it says that where an election is to be held and a candidate dies on the eve of the election and proof of the death of the candidate is given to the returning officer before the commencement of the poll, the returning officer shall put on hold proceedings in the relations to the election and inform the commission. The commission shall, on receipt of the information under sub-regulation 1, adjourn the poll and allow a period of 10 days for the political party to which the candidate belonged to nominate a new candidate. So to which the candidate belonged, not to everybody.
Okay.
To which the candidate.
So if you can't lace your boots and if the portal opens, you to quickly resubmit or get.
Your flag bearer has not died. Go and sit down.
Okay.
Yeah.
You couldn't make it through that
Please
process.
go and sit down. Your flag bearer has not died. Yeah.
A lot on the line.
Yeah. Your flag bearer has not died. Go and sit down.
The Janetta, what a fucking Janetta and Bappe. A while now, Macata, I'm a man, but I'm not in the town. Oh, can you when you're doing? Sometimes what I did, if you did, a Canada, a man. Near the America, near Janetta and Soniato. You're trying near the choir, near Socaniano. You're quite back near Dumono. And I said, yeah, over the I am myself. And I, who could have. You're passing, say, don't do so as a hammer. Now go on, Franchise. Yanya don't want it. Ghana said, Yaya don't want it. Yes, your father and pa. Now,
The best in the morning is on 92.7 Sunrise on 3FM.
Well, we'll leave it here.